Hey everyone, welcome to
Hello.
another episode of Business Wine and Cheese. You won't really know the difference because this is obviously pre-recorded, but it's been a while between shooting episodes.
Between drinks.
It's good to be back, between drinks. So this is our first episode since the pandemic hit the world, so we're excited to be back together. We've got Bryan Phillips from Tideways with us today.
Welcome.
Welcome, mate.
Thanks, guys. Great to be here.
Yep.
It's great to have you, mate.
Let's get into the important stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we've got a Pinot Noir from Mount Difficulty. So this is one of our regular go-to wines when we go down to Neptune around the corner. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Great to be here.
I miss this taste.
Very good. So you're actually the first guest where we've asked them what wine they want to drink. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It probably would have been a Pinot anyway, to be honest.
I was very happy with it. I got the emails like, find something. I'm like,
Yeah.
something good Pinot.
Very good. So, mate, usually we start off with the origin story.
Perfect.
Go back as far as you're comfortable to, but it'd be great to go from the start.
Sure, no
Give a
problems.
bit of context.
Absolutely.
What makes you you?
How long you got? No. Born in South Africa, so similar to Amy.
Nice.
Born in South Africa, Cape Town. Came across to Perth, WA in 91
Right.
when I was 7. Did all my schooling there, primary, high school, university, started Bachelor of Commerce. Bit unsure of what I wanted to do, but thought business was always what I enjoyed.
Siblings, parents? Obviously, you got
One
parents.
brother.
Yep.
Got parents, mum and dad, who have recently moved over from WA to Melbourne.
Yeah,
My
wow.
brother and I both found Melbourne girls and
Ah.
did a very typical transition of
Right.
South Africa, Perth, Melbourne. So it's a well-worn path.
Very common, isn't
It's
it?
a very
Yeah,
well-worn
very-
path.
Yeah.
But look, Perth was great. Loved growing up
Yeah.
there. Forged a lot of great friendships. Not a big community.
Yeah.
But a really close-knit community.
Yeah.
But the
I like
time
Perth.
came to get out.
Yeah.
And move from being big fish,
Yep.
small pond, into being a little fish. And came here, didn't really know many people,
Right.
and really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Just could take a step back from a lot of the stuff that I was doing in Perth, and almost started fresh. It was a clean slate. Came over because of love. Had a
Yep.
girlfriend. Ended up marrying her. Getting into the father-in-law's business.
Right.
So
Very
I think
good.
in hindsight it worked really well.
Yeah.
But look, studied business of Bachelor of Commerce, and got in financial planning. It was a pretty generic place to start where you could do a little bit of risk, a little bit of asset allocation,
Yeah.
a bit of stockbroking. So just to keep it pretty generic.
Yep.
Went through the GFC
Yeah, right.
as a junior associate.
Right.
So in hindsight, an amazing opportunity to learn and appreciate what happens when people don't adhere to tried and true methods of risk and asset allocation
Yeah.
and staying the path. You know, certain areas of the market leading up to the GFC were really sexy.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people got persuaded by that and sort of
Yeah.
moved their lens, so to speak. So to go through that when I didn't have skin in the game
Yep.
just gave me a real appreciation of risk and things are tried and true
Yeah.
because they work.
Yeah.
You know, so that was great, but fell out of love with financial planning when I was
Right.
in Melbourne. You can only sell that much ANZ and buy
Yeah.
that much Westpac before you start going,
Yeah.
I need something more.
Yeah.
So for me, I needed more. At the same time, my father-in-law had a body corporate, strata management, whatever you want to call it, little business on the side. He was in the importing of clothing business.
Right.
Got an opportunity on a few different projects to be the body corporate manager.
Right.
And every time I went to his house, he was just there managing a few properties. If there was a leak, he called a plumber. If there was an electrician issue, he called a sparky. And I just thought, how good's this?
Yeah.
Master of your own destiny.
Yep.
Get to forge really strong relationships with people.
Yep.
I think in hindsight, looking back 7 or 8 years ago now, that's been what I've really enjoyed.
Is
I've
it because it's like always you're always conversing, you're always talking?
Absolutely.
You're always on the
Relationships.
phone. You start to talk to people a lot more than an email and things like that.
Yeah. So first of all, I never see anyone drink after the initial sip. So I'm just going to keep drinking.
Oh, you're.
You haven't watched long enough.
I watched a few. Everyone takes one sip and then just goes,
Actually,
we'll just leave it there.
That's because we keep hammering him with questions,
Yeah.
and we probably don't talk enough.
Yeah.
And also, I drink the bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So I don't encourage them to drink so I can keep it all.
Well, you got plenty of others. So,
They're all
I'll
empty,
make-
mate.
They're all empty. The fridges at the back.
All right, well, we'll
So
keep
drink
going.
up.
So look, for me, what this gave me an opportunity to do was really follow my passion,
Right.
which is people. I love talking. I love building relationships. I love networking.
Yep.
Done a lot of stuff with like Kiani and Amy, who I know have been on this before.
Mm-hmm.
And I just try and surround myself with amazing people.
Yeah.
Good things happen when you play a straight bat,
Yeah, I think
and
so too.
you just formulate great relationships with
Yeah.
people.
So through your studies and all that, I mean, obviously commerce was the focus there, but you know, what drove you into the business other than the fact that your father-in-law?
Well, there was a need, first of all. So the business was growing beyond him as a single person. He could only do so much.
Right.
3 daughters. None of them wanted to get into strata management.
Okay.
Fair enough. But also what I saw was it was a really unsexy industry. And the opportunity to me was to help my father-in-law get out of the study, which is where we started, and make something a little sexier.
Yeah.
Not sexy, but
Yeah.
sexier.
Yeah.
Because strata management, you just ask anyone who's got an investment property or lives in a strata building, and they're naturally going to say, awful, don't have a relationship with the person,
Yeah.
pay my bills, I don't know where the money goes. There's just no value there.
Yeah.
So I think what we saw was an opportunity to really forge long-term relationships with our clients
Yeah.
and add value
Yeah.
and play a straight bat. And that's
Yeah.
another thing in my industry, which is
Yeah.
really lacking, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is that transparency.
It's just seen as a black hole for money.
100%.
Yeah.
And when there's a problem, what really gets achieved? You know, it's the run around, it's 5 phone calls.
Yeah.
They get a
2
plumber
weeks
out,
later,
they
3
fix
weeks
it,
later,
and
4
it's
weeks,
yeah. And so we just thought there has to be a better way. I've always had the little streak in me where I challenge the establishment, I kind of damn the man sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I just thought we've got to do something different.
Yep.
You know, we'll try and make it better. You obviously have your wins and your losses, but the intent has always just been to do it better and do it in a way that challenges the status quo.
Yeah, we encounter a similar situation where, so drink up while I'm talking. We encountered a similar situation when I was head of IT for a company. We found that some of the partners that will come through, you know, weren't being so much genuine more than just trying to get that sale across the line, where if you help me get to where I want to go, I'm going to keep you with me because you're helping me achieve everything that potentially my bosses want to achieve. And making me look good, you know what I mean, in a way. But I found that that's why we started the same thing, because we thought, let's just go a little bit extra. You know, the customer wants us to just give them a little bit extra. They might not notice it, but in the long run, they'll notice little things that are working in a particular way that will just make their life a lot more easier. Or
Couldn't agree more.
Things look a little bit better, you know.
Definitely. I mean, ultimately, we're all doing the same thing.
Exactly.
We're collecting levies, we're paying bills,
Yeah.
we're managing the buildings.
Yeah.
But there are so many different layers to it that I think there is missing in our industry.
I think that person thing, just like, just give me a hand.
So how do you tell your story? You know, how do you advertise your business? How do you?
So we've never advertised in terms of paid advertising. It's all been referral, word of mouth. For me, I think repetition builds reputation.
Right.
And that's something that someone once told me. And it really stuck. Do the right thing, do it consistently, and people will notice because you will differentiate yourself from the market. And, you know, you were talking before about, you know, a competitor of mine, and there's just no value there.
Yeah.
So I think what we found was our market is very transactional. So my story is the bulk of our competitors are in that bank teller model.
Yeah.
It's transactional. There's no value. There's no relationship. There's no trust. We try and play in that private banking analogy of owners court management, where our team manage fewer buildings. They're encouraged to build strong relationships with the committee.
Service.
Absolutely, because there's trust, there's value. And in that environment and that instance, you expect to pay a bit more. Not a lot more,
Yeah.
we think. But if you mention private banking to the bank teller, there's a natural appreciation that you're going to get more, but it's going to cost you slightly more.
Yeah.
And we've always said, look, all our plumbers, electricians, cleaners, they're all going to be third-party contractors.
Yeah.
We're never going to own those and then force our businesses or our owners' corporations to use them.
Yeah.
Completely agnostic.
Yeah.
So when you rock up to a meeting at the end of the financial year and you've got 30, 40, 50, 80, 100 people there and you're having conversations with them, you can hand on heart show them any invoice, have any discussion about any contractor, because they're there because we thought they were the best for them. And if they want to change, you're not sitting there protecting an income stream. You just go, let's give them a chance to improve because that's the right thing to do. But if they don't, let's change.
Do you find that encourages your partners to work better?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I say to them,
Well, they're not complacent.
you're only as good as your last job.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do
So
a great
it's
job. And look, we're very fortunate. It's an industry that if you're good at what you do and you grow, you can feed a lot of families.
Yeah.
So whilst no one is on our books,
Yeah.
there are plumbers and electricians and gardeners and cleaners
Yeah.
that a huge percentage of their revenue comes from Tideways.
Yeah.
And it's a great feeling to be
Yeah.
able to feed people.
Yeah, I feel like that would be really cool because it's like these people kind of have passion and heart for what they're doing.
Well, they have to.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of cool that you're doing that and you have those relationships with those people
So
that are trying to get.
you don't like money? Why don't you advertise?
Truthfully, it's about the right buildings coming on.
Right.
So we operate in the B2B space and the B2C. By B2B, I'm talking developers and new projects.
Yep.
And then the B2C is people like yourself. You're on a committee. You're not happy with your
Yep.
current manager and you look to change. So new development
Yep.
and existing projects. The existing projects is all word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Google reviews, people saying, oh, I'm in another building. I love what you've done here. Can you do it there? Or my daughter's complaining about her owner's corp and
Yep.
can you help them? And honestly, that's just keeping us busy enough.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I guess that's
and we don't want to grow too big
That's the answer.
and then over promise and under deliver.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're always big believers in stable growth,
Yeah.
sustainable growth, where we
Yeah.
can continue that private banking thing of having enough staff.
So the answer is you're happy.
Very happy.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
good. That makes
love
sense.
what I do. Which from where I was in financial planning, I just wasn't there every morning.
Yeah.
I wake up here. I've got a team of 16 now from where we
Yeah.
were with just my father-in-law and I, and just love. As I say to people, I could be selling socks.
Yeah.
What I enjoy most is building that business with
Yeah.
with my father-in-law.
That's the bottom line.
And we had some really robust conversations before
Yeah.
we got into business together because
I bet.
it's your father-in-law.
Yeah.
So, I think with your father or someone else, it's different.
Yeah.
Your father-in-law, the joke is you
Different
can't go
rule.
home and complain about your boss.
Yeah.
And you can't go to work and complain about your wife because you're stuffed either way. So,
Yeah.
look, it's been a great dynamic. It's been a good journey. We had another director join us 3 years ago. There was an opportunity for someone to come in and really take our business to the next level.
Right.
Big IT background.
Yep. Great.
And he's just helped us systems and processes and scale the business
Yep.
whilst providing that same level of service.
Yep.
It's always about service.
Yeah.
Building one doesn't care that you're up to building whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's right. They still
To
want
them,
the
it's
same
building
level.
one.
Yeah.
In fact, that's an inverse relationship. They want you to do less
Yeah.
so that you can give them more time.
Yeah.
So it's managing that and really knowing your business
Yeah.
inside out to understand,
Attention, care.
but for every building you bring on or for every X number of apartments that come into the business, what does your staffing look like?
Yep.
What do your systems look like?
Yeah.
And really understanding how you deliver that service
Yeah.
whilst growing.
How do you
Yeah.
maintain the ratio?
100%.
Yeah,
And
for
that's
sure.
hard. That's tough.
Yeah.
And it's been 11 years for the business. It's been about 8 for me.
Yeah.
And we're learning every day, like you guys. Everything
Yeah, yeah.
changes.
Did you
every
ever
day.
did you ever think you had entrepreneurial tendencies
No.
or
Never. What I did know
so it was just serendipity?
is that I got put into a situation
Yeah.
and I've loved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as I've got more confidence and belief in what we're doing, because more clients are coming to us,
Yeah.
it's validated that what we're doing. And I've always said to my staff, you learn more from your bad bosses
Yeah.
than the good
You
ones.
do.
And I've taken that to heart. The bad bosses that I've had in my career,
Right.
it's modeling not what they did.
Yeah.
Don't do that, don't do that.
Yeah.
As opposed to do more of that and more of that, which I think is
sure.
really interesting.
For sure.
Yeah.
What
I think
do you
you're right
do?
there.
You see yourself as as an operator, or do you see yourself as like a creative entrepreneur?
Now,
Yes.
probably the latter.
Okay.
Which is really interesting because
is
if you had
interesting.
asked me a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
I would have said, look, I'm just in the business. I want to be a worker
So you've got
bee.
entrepreneurial tendencies. There's a difference between
Yeah.
like a natural entrepreneur and someone that can develop that.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. And what I've really enjoyed is just building networks, building relationships.
That's horrible. Don't have that. It's really, it's really shit, Paul. It's a terrible choice.
We'll stick to the one.
Usually the Australian breed's really nice, but I don't know. Coles, whatever you did with that one, you fucked it up. So, mate, speaking of tough, like, I mean, we were talking earlier about some of the things you guys have been doing to continue to serve your customers through this tough time.
Yep.
for you guys, it hasn't actually been tough because people have seen how bad of an experience they actually are having with their now previous body corp.
Yep.
So how have you been keeping in touch with your customers?
Health aside, pandemic aside, the COVID period has really given us an opportunity to walk the walk.
Yeah.
Demonstrate the service.
Yeah.
Demonstrate to people that we can lead and show leadership. So proactively stress testing all our building financials, looking at discretionary, non-discretionary spend, understanding what 20% to 30% of arrears or people not paying their fees, what does that actually mean for your building? You know, unfortunately, things like window cleaning and steam cleaning the carpets and the nice to haves have been put to the side.
Our window cleaners didn't clean our particular windows for 10 years. And we only just worked that out last time. Because you know they've got, like, when you've got a balcony with a
Balustrade?
well, yeah, but it's a high one, so it's to stop the
Privacy.
line of sight.
Yep.
Yeah. They never bothered getting over that to get to the window. On the
It's unreal.
balcony, mate.
So stress testing the portfolios and understanding where people sit from a financial perspective has been great.
Yeah.
For us, we've also tried to engage and galvanise the community within each building.
Yeah.
So we're setting up email addresses for each building so that a committee member can help with an elderly person to take their food upstairs. Or we want to try and keep people who are at risk out of the lifts, the common areas, gyms, pools, spas, all closed.
Yeah.
But try to galvanise and enable the owners sort of look after themselves.
That's awesome.
But give them the tools.
Yeah.
Here are the templates. Here's what's working really well. Food deliveries, Uber Eats. Let someone
It
young and
encourages
healthy
the committees to be better
go
too,
and
right?
pick it up. 100%. 100%.
It's enabling them. It's good.
That's a very good analogy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, enabling our committees to self-serve while supporting them and being there for them. We've picked up 2 properties in the last couple of weeks where the OC manager, mum and dad, sole operators, they just didn't have the capacity to
keep
go
up.
the extra mile and keep up during COVID.
Yeah.
So they've actually had to resign from a building.
Yeah.
And good buildings, you know. So we've come in and demonstrated. I mean, we were able to, through some connections and networks of ours, get some hand sanitizer about 2 months ago when it was really scarce.
Yeah.
Just put some Tideway labels on it and just chuck it in letterboxes.
Yeah.
At every building we could. Small little things
That
to
you
show
manage.
appreciation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
just making sure the guys know you're not an opportunist.
No. Only in our buildings.
Yeah.
Little things like that. You know, coffee with the committee chairperson over Zoom or Teams or WeChat or the digital communication.
What was the best one? Zoom? What was the go-to?
Zoom's been great.
Yeah.
So there's been some of our competitors who have said no meetings during COVID.
Right.
We think, well, buildings still need to run.
Yeah.
So we were really early adopters of holding annual general meetings over Zoom. You've got to talk to Ethel and Myrtle and Barry and them about technology because a lot of them are up here or they don't understand how to mute themselves.
Yeah.
But we got there, and now, you know, we use the poll feature to run our motions.
Right.
The motion is this, and then from a transparency perspective, these are the votes. These are your voted motions carried, and people get it really quickly. But it's scary at first, and some of our own staff struggled with, you know, implementing technology. But I think if you lead top down and you go,
this
we
time
need
kind
to
of
do
help
it.
people just really grab technology a little bit firmer and say, I have to learn this.
We've been putting out a bunch of content, educational content on how to embrace and use technology, and, you know, now that it's become the norm, how to continue to optimize it moving forward. What does the future of work look like for you in that regard?
Look, I think once you've done annual general meetings over Zoom, you just have to continue it.
Yeah.
You can't say to people, well, the meeting's now going to be in
Just
our
got to make
office at
sure
6
you don't
o'clock.
take your laptop to the bathroom. That's all you
Or you
I've
know
seen
how
some
to
of those
disable
ones.
camera.
Exactly. I've seen some of
horror
those ones
stories.
online.
Yeah, because you watch so much Facebook video,
Yeah.
it's like you don't
So
give us
much.
anything.
Look, for us, it's just going to continue to enable us to do things. I think the more engagement for us that we can have with our owners, and some of our competitors, we won't name names, they want to stay away from that. Less communication is better for them because they rely on that apathy. For us, we want to engage our ownership group because we have such a good relationship with them. So the use of technology and making it easy for them, so sending out 3, 4, 5 page instruction guides on how to get onto the Zoom, even though it's just click and you know,
Download
make
parts,
sure
press people off.
make sure your headphones are connected.
Yeah.
You know, the real basics. But if you enable people to use the technology, they'll get it.
Yeah.
or they get one of their children to do it for
Yeah,
Yeah.
them. There's a fair bit of that.
for sure, for sure. Aside from that, is there anything else that you've seen that you think will stick from a behavioural point of view or optimization?
I think people now have, and I can only talk about strata and
Yeah, that's fine.
my field, but I think the appreciation of the cleaning within buildings,
Right.
That's
the
a good point.
the hygiene perspective, as everyone's living at home at the moment
Yeah.
and working from home, we're up in cleaning. We're up in waste management collection. So a lot of the private waste contractors that were doing bins 3 days a week are now doing it 5 days a week because everyone's home living,
Yeah.
consuming more at home. So I think sanitation, hygiene, cleanliness, and we have a lot of mixed use buildings where there's commercial and resi on top.
Right.
The common area toilets where you've got to have those conversations with the committee that no, it shouldn't be 5 day a week cleaning, it should be 7 day a week. And they're just looking at the dollars.
Yeah.
Now there's less focus on the dollars
Yeah.
and more focus on, you're right, Brian, we need to have 7 day a week. We also need to have, say, needle disposal and
Yeah.
just those bits that are around cleanliness and hygiene. There's more an appreciation for it.
Right.
Still got to demonstrate value and look
Yeah.
at the cost and everything, but I think people are more willing to look at things that involve hygiene and cleanliness because of where we are.
Do you think people value short-term money? Like this is a hard one before even asking you it, because a lot of people have lost their jobs, right?
Yep.
And lost businesses and all that. Do you think people value short-term money less now?
Yes, I do.
And
But
I
I
should
think
say
that's
in
tempered.
comparison to the health.
Yeah, I think that's tempered with the beauty of an owner's corp is that you're in a community. So if you take a building of say 60 units, you've got 59 other owners that you can leverage off.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a couple that can't pay,
Yeah.
but as opposed to being, in a block of say 2, and if you don't pay, 50% doesn't get collected. If you've got a galvanized community, and you've also had prudent management for a number of years where there are cash reserves,
Right.
that's a big thing.
Okay.
So before this, some of our buildings were like $1 surplus a year, just budget to spend,
Yeah,
budget
wow.
to spend, budget to spend.
Right.
Now we're having conversations around, well, we need buffer. And these are the times when you need buffer.
Yeah.
So I think there's an appreciation of the need to put money away for a rainy day. And the thing I always say to people is if you had a house, in a couple of years you're going to have to fix your gutters or you're going to have to fix your roof. And you kind of plan for that.
Right.
Buildings are the same. Big buildings, you've got to have maintenance plans. You've got to have contingency. So it's a challenge. Yes, we want it, but can we afford it?
Right.
Or if I put money into the maintenance fund, then I sell my apartment, I don't get that money back. That's in the body corp's pool of money.
Yeah.
So having those conversations, and there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
We've got buildings that all they want to do is keep it really lean, and when something comes up, they raise a special levy.
Right.
Now, as you know, those are a bugger to get. 30 days, I've got to pay X number of dollars. There are other buildings that fear that like the plague, and they'd rather build in much bigger contingency
Absolutely.
year on year. So it's about
Peace of mind.
conversations.
Yeah.
But I think if there's inherent trust between the OC manager and the owners or clients and
Yeah.
whoever it may be, if there's trust, you can have those conversations, and it's not a money grab. I don't make more money if my owners put more in the bank.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't-
see, that's the misconception.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be more
100%.
education around that.
Yeah.
I don't think people actually understand to a degree what an owners corporation
Well,
manager
no one takes
does.
the time to explain it.
Yeah. And
Well,
I think
at least
again
our
that's an opportunity
For sure.
that we've found in our market with our clients is to really walk the walk, demonstrate it, and then at the meetings just chat about it. It's
Okay.
not pumping your own tires up; it's just
Look,
explaining.
I'm probably going to play a role here right now because I'm looking to buy a property, maybe an apartment. So something like this will probably interest some of the people watching here.
Sure.
What does an owner's corporate do? What do they do?
Sure. So if you think of an apartment building, anything outside the apartment is kind of our remit as an owners corporation. So we place insurance on the building,
Yep.
cleaning of the hallways, the basements, maintaining the cleaning of those areas, the garage door being serviced, the glass doors being opened and closed, that servicing, the essential safety, which is the sprinklers, the fire hydrants, the hose reels. So everything outside your apartment, but within the building,
Yep.
typically falls on the owners corporation.
Cool.
So if you're looking to buy, and I did a piece recently with someone, we were talking about what to look for.
Yep.
The minutes of the last meeting.
Yep.
Crucial. Have they spoken about the need to replace the roof soon?
Yeah.
Because then when you're buying, you're making an informed decision. The health of the financials. How much is in the bank account? Is there a maintenance fund? how do they go versus last year in terms of the budget and expenditure. So
Right.
working with someone like Kiani from KLM Conveyancing and working with her clients to say, the house looks great and I don't want to be the negative Nelly here.
Yeah.
But the minutes of last year's AGM talk about replacing all the windows. Windows are very, very
Yeah,
expensive.
the glass
Yeah.
is expensive.
Yes, and moving from timber to aluminium frames, it's a big job. And look, that didn't deter that purchaser, but they went in more eyes open.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I was after.
It's just understanding what you're buying into. And if you buy an old 60s block, you're going to know there's maintenance there.
And things like, because I've noticed, I've visited friends' apartments and things like that, and they have a rooftop. Does that also get covered by horticulture?
Yes, I mean, each plan of subdivision is different in terms of the lot boundaries and
Okay.
and who's responsible. But just to go a step further, there's buildings where there's concierge, there's gyms, there's pools, and there's all these beautiful things. And everyone goes, that's amazing. I love the fact that I've got a gym and all these amenities,
You got to pay for
but
it.
you've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
So you can't have one without the other. So for us, on a brand new development, and we do a lot of new development, is sitting down with the purchasers after settlement,
Yeah.
and again having this transparent conversation and saying, look, this is the budget, this is where all the figures come from, these are the quotes that led to this thing, and being very transparent with them, and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We've got buildings that are small that have their place cleaned 5 days a week. I think it's ridiculously excessive, but that's what they want, and that's what they're willing to pay for.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's great.
Yeah.
The converse is really difficult, where they want the place cleaned fortnightly.
Okay.
You've got to have that conversation
Yeah.
about upping
Yeah.
the cleaning pre-COVID, of course, but that's typically an investor block.
Yeah.
So understanding when you're looking to buy, is this predominantly owner-occupied property,
Yeah.
people's homes, they tend to want to maintain them better, or is it
Yeah.
an investor block where there's predominantly short stays can be an issue? That's a big issue for us.
Mm-hmm.
Cladding is a massive issue facing our industry at the moment. So just going in eyes open
Yeah.
is really important.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That'll
So
help a
I
lot.
could wax lyrical. Car stackers,
Yeah.
lifts, number of owners corps that you're going to pay for the commercial cleaning and vice versa. So yeah, there's a lot of intricacies within
Lots of fun.
strata. Yeah,
an owner.
really sexy to talk about strata budgets and owners corp, but it's important. It's an asset.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm amazed at how few people attend annual general meetings.
Yeah. I think it's really
It's
important.
just
Well,
amazing.
put them on Zoom, mate. More people will go.
Yeah.
Well,
Did
we're
you see?
trying.
Did you see that?
What's
Did it
that?
spike attendance?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Which has been great.
It's not rocket science. Yeah,
No, but our
for sure.
attendance is genuinely pretty
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it captures that guy in Singapore or people who are overseas.
Yeah, wow.
They can now attend these
There you
meetings
go.
rather than just giving us a proxy form
Yeah.
and hoping we go.
Is
with
this
the
something
flow.
that will continue to happen, you
It
reckon?
has to.
Yep. Cool.
Now that you've done it,
It's an expectation.
take it
Every
back.
other
Exactly
industry does
right.
it.
Yeah.
So, and that's great for us because one of our core values is innovation in a really old school industry.
Yeah.
Makes things more
To lead
efficient
from
too.
it, 100%.
Yeah.
It works to our advantage.
Yeah.
To utilize technology, but for
Right.
some reason, real estate's got a lot of apps and software and technology in it. But
Mm-hmm.
you move to strata,
Yeah.
and only very recently has the whole sort of prop tech movement.
That's where we met.
Filtered down.
Remember Ed from
That's
Gullen
it.
Plumbing sent me over to you guys with that app?
Yep.
We never did anything with it, but it was a good chat.
Yeah. Well, we use Ed and the boys a lot. Gallen's
Yeah.
been a great contractor
Yeah, they're awesome.
for us.
Yeah.
And that's surround yourself with good people.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Trust.
So, mate, I mean, that's probably an answer to a question that I wanted to ask, but, having gone through the paces now, 7-8 years in, what's some advice for people that are, especially people that have started recently and just gone through what they've gone through? Look, there have been a couple of industries like online education and and yours, well, not your industry, but your business in particular, which have seen an uprise in recent times. But what do you have to say to them?
Really hard to put yourself in that position and say this, but don't chase the dollar.
Right.
And my motto is treat the buildings as if your mother lived in it.
Yep.
Do the right thing. Don't chase the dollar. So for us, that means we don't have a slice of our plumbers, electricians.
Yeah.
We just don't play in that
But
kickback
business
space.
in general?
In general, don't chase it.
Yeah.
If you chase it, you start competing on price very quickly, and then you're just working ridiculously hard. Sure, I mean, when we started out, we took smaller blocks that we just had to have because you've got to build a reputation and momentum. But I think, again, we talk about the GFC days in my financial planning career, and it was about staying the course. Don't deviate. If you're going to do what you do, there's been that many times where we've looked at property management or project sales, and every time we just keep coming back to do owners corporation management, do it really well, and the rest will take care of
It's
itself.
interesting how important adversity is for, progression in general, but just being able to, be a wartime general, be able to handle these types of situations. It's sad to say, but the amount of people that, even if we just talk about, Instagram influencers as an example, right? It's hard for me not to smile because so many of them are just full of shit. But the ones that are legitimate have found ways to keep going. But the ones that literally hire, like jump fences at private airports to take photos and hire cars pretending it's theirs and all that sort of stuff.
I'm trying to be an influencer.
Well, I was using you as an example.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't want to call you out, but you did it for me.
I know.
They've never, in the words of someone that I really admire and look up to, they've never been punched in the face.
Yep.
Right? And GFC was an example of that. You're taking selfies inside. Okay, very good. And this is going to be one that goes down in history as the all-time absolute off-the-cliff moment, in terms of revenue globally.
Yep.
Without answering the question for you, how important is adversity? And
Look, I think it really separates the good operators from the bad operators. It separates people that are running on ridiculously thin margin. It separates the guys that are paying for business. It separates the people that are relying on diversified income streams to make their core offering work.
Or
And
investing
unfortunately,
the next investment round.
Correct, or just relying on that. I don't want to say it's a Ponzi scheme, but the analogy of just needing money to get to the next
Hamster
one.
wheel, yeah.
For us, it's about doing one thing, doing it really well, playing the long game.
Yeah.
The long game 8 years ago is now paying off. The long game 4 years ago of putting so much effort into business development and forging relationships with developers, they've now got projects coming up which is sustaining our business.
It's a compounding effect.
100%.
Especially when you're talking about that sort of time period.
Yeah, and your cost of acquisition of a customer, and we all know this is zero for a repeat client. So, don't have 50 clients if you need 10 good ones that just do a project every year or every 6 months and work with them, build with them. We've now moved from developers who are my father-in-law's age at 60, 62 to now their children. So ride the next generation and forge really good relationships with them.
It's incredible.
And that's the advantage we've had of having older directors, younger directors, and a workforce of diversified across sex, race, religion, is you can form commonality bonds. So we have a developer who's a bit older and wants that white hair, old school value system, although we think we have it. My father-in-law's perfect. He can forge the initial relationship. You have younger developers that want younger, more perceived adoption of technology. Myself and the other director who's my age, we go out and meet them. So I think a lot of that mirroring thing that people talk about, just do the right thing. I think that's what's really sustained us, is just do the right thing. And if you make a mistake, just put your hand up. No one's perfect. Guys, you're right. We should have done that. We didn't. I'm sorry.
Let's get better.
Yeah.
We learn from it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You get found out pretty quick.
For sure. We've got a segment called Lightning Round. Is that what it's called? It's been so long. I think it's right. Yeah.
Lightning round.
Very good.
And we have some lightning effects.
I asked him to get new questions. I guarantee you he hasn't.
Yeah.
But I'll be surprised.
Stay
if he
the
has.
path.
Yeah.
If they're good questions, stick with them.
All right, you ready?
I don't think I'm ready.
Haven't I
might just-
cheers.
Lightning round. All right, let's go.
What's your favorite thing in your wardrobe right now?
My shoes.
Your shoes.
I should say my socks, because I got my kids' faces on them,
That's amazing.
and they got West Coast hats on. So big West Coast
much.
fan. Sorry,
It's fine.
my lucky socks.
If you were a spirit animal, what would it be?
Oh,
He actually has got new questions. Well done.
no.
I'd be an eagle.
Be an eagle.
Be an eagle.
Okay.
Soaring high, powerful. Don't take
Lion
shit.
bark.
Chilling.
Lose to Hawks in grand finals. That sort of stuff.
What's the best piece of advice you've received?
As I said before, I think repetition
Repetition.
builds reputation.
Awesome.
Do the right thing over and over.
And if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Flying, 100%.
Lion. What is your favorite movie ever?
Oh, there's so many. I don't think you can go past The Police Academy series. For some reason, I'm old school. I just love
I was
them.
watching that.
Hightower, Motormouth
Hightower.
Jones,
Yeah.
Mahoney. You can't go past it.
Yeah, I forgot the guy named the Speaks, right? Like that. What's his name?
The old school comedian. Yeah. Just the best thing to put on.
If there was a movie, who would play you?
Oh my god. Well, I get called the guy from American Pie all the time.
No, you're Lewis Litt.
I get Lewis Litt. I get Fat George Columbaris. I get
That can be my next question.
DeVito.
Your last Halloween costume.
Well, I got to just put a hat on. I look like George Columbaris walking down Toorak Road.
Oh shit.
Have you ever tasted soap?
No.
Okay. What's your middle name?
My middle
It
name.
is a weird question. I tell you, it's gonna get really weird.
My middle name is Victor.
Victor, what makes you smile?
My kids.
Awesome. If you were famous, what will you be famous for?
Throwing massive parties.
Ah,
Okay.
okay. We're ready. What new technology you think will transform the future?
Virtual reality. We're starting to see it.
Yeah. What's the most frequently used emoji?
The poo emoji.
What does a seal sound like?
This is going to be a soundbite, isn't it?
Yeah.
A seal?
Yeah.
These are great.
Why can't I get the other ones that I practiced in the
That's why I asked you to do you ones.
Awesome. That's it.
That's it, mate. I can't choose you because I'm done. But
Cheers.
thank you so much
Cheers.
for coming on.
Thank you,
Thank
guys,
you.
for having
Thanks for
me.
tuning in. Cheers,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
See you.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to watch more episodes as they launch. Don't forget to share with your friends and click here to watch more videos.